Hello, fellow Cagesiders and denizens of the internet, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Shooting. I am your co-host, Andrew Swift, just Andrew Swift. I got no other titles anymore. And obviously, as always, joined by Tonya Rodgers. But I just wanted to say something to start off about a very unfortunate thing that happened in wrestling Monday night, which we learned a little bit more about last night. So life isn't fair, and we got another reminder of it last night when the news came out about Bayley's shoulder injury. It looked pretty bad from the very first second on Monday when she was kind of tossed to the outside and hit the ropes weird and hit the canvas, hit the mat weird, and hit outside weird, and she was immediately kind of favoring her arm and shoulder. And now we have confirmation, if not how long she'll be out, that definitely something is wrong. I mean, I know some people are still saying that, oh, it might be at work, but it definitely is not at work. Or it's the best work of all time. The video of her discussing the injury was heartbreaking, and it was kind of a reminder to me that these are very real people behind these characters. A big singles title match at SummerSlam, which was then assumed to launch what was probably going to be a massive sort of angle for her and Sasha, is a really big deal. And to miss out on that because of injuries is a really big setback and really awful. I mean, we all know she's an immense talent, and she is. You may have forgotten it, but she is. But much more importantly, by all accounts, she's a lovely person in real life. So let's hope she has a speedy recovery and comes back better than ever. Injuries are never fun, and this one sucks especially bad.
Yeah, that's where I am, and I just hope it's nothing major that takes her out. And if it is, it may be a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and her reactions aren't what they were when she first came up. So I just hope, something good can come out of this.
Yeah, hopefully this means that they have to readjust the Sasha turn, and hopefully it means that they have to readjust it to what I've been saying for years now, whether she should be turning as champion, as a face champion, and just sort of turn and become more and more paranoid. So it might work out the best, and hopefully, in the time being, Bayley gets a chance to talk to Vince and go over her character, what her character actually is, because he clearly does not understand it, and that she can kind of practice her words. So yeah, but it's still a bummer, missing a big show, 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years after her big coming out party in the same arena.
Yeah. That's a bummer, but it was good to see so many people from the rosters giving her support, and she's definitely loved and supported, and that's always good to see.
Yeah.
So let's dive right in. I guess we'll talk about the programming and stuff, but the thing I really want to talk about is, first, because I've been dying ever since I read this tea, we gotta talk about Enzo Amore. We have
you know what's funny is I was walking home from work today and I was like, did that happen before last week's show? I couldn't remember, so I'm glad that this is coming in at the top. I'm excited.
It happened Friday.
Okay.
And the young lady in question tweeted it out. And I'm trying to find it as I talk about it in case people haven't read her tweets. Because I definitely retweeted it, and she actually corresponded with me. And And I believe her. So, for those unaware, apparently, while in Buffalo for a house show, afterwards, Enzo Amore comes to a strip club and was very braggadocious. The DJ made it seem like, you know, he was a big deal, and he was talking himself up as a big deal. And he said a lot of questionable things. He said he insinuated that a lot of the female wrestlers started off on the pole. He is famously dated Liv Morgan, who is decidedly white. I know some people are like, yeah, she got that yo yo yo. No, that's nothing but white girl stuff right there. But apparently he was quite enamored with all the black ladies' anatomies. So only gave her $10 while trying to get her to leave her place of employment and go to his hotel room, where he alleges that he just wanted to smoke weed, which is a violation of the wellness policy, but he bragged that it's only a fine. He also called the other ladies working, one of the other ladies, a whore. He referred to them as whores. And he was just an all-around douchebag. Now, this also ties into bringing to the table when they all but confirmed that Roman Reigns, in fact, did kick his ass off of a tour bus for being an asshole. Now, so I was all like, oh no, it's the booking making Enzo seem like a slime bag, but no, I was wrong. He's a slime bag in real life. So, yeah, he lost a fan that week. This past weekend. I cannot. There are very few things. I fortunately have never had to resort to stripping, but I know a lot of strippers, surprisingly, and they're very nice young ladies, and they're doing what they have to do in this world to survive. And I feel as though if you are going to be in the presence of a beautiful young lady, and she is going to be gracious enough to sit in your lap of all things and spend all her valuable time with you, because time is money for everybody, but no more so than a sex worker. So if you don't have the cash, then move on. Don't try to we call them stunners, where people try to stunt and act like they got more than what they have. Or even if you do, be stingy with what you got. I don't like that. I don't appreciate those people. So tip your strippers and tip them well. Because these are some people say it's the easiest thing in the world to do. I think physically it may be easy for some because they're talented enough to be able to dance and do all those gymnastics on the pole. Psychologically, for a woman, it's one of the hardest things to do, to trade your sex for money. So if they're doing that, please give them the respect to pay them properly. $10. Like, I am a waitress. One of my jobs, I have two. I am a waitress, and I make $10 in like 10 minutes. So that, I was aghast. I have nothing more. And if WWE is going to bury that motherfucker, bury him underneath the earth, please. Thank you. I'll enjoy it. I'm still looking for that tweet. What are your thoughts on this issue?
Yeah, that was something else, wasn't it? And it was kind of confirmed how the female locker room thought of him when Naomi responded to, when she quote tweeted some person who was like, who made some reference and tagged Enzo actually, and she like did a bunch of like emojis with dollar signs or something like that. So that story is out there, and I saw Liv Morgan tweeting about like it's deleted now, but she was talking about like guilty pleasure of the single life or something like that, and it was like, what? Hold on, look, ruh-roh. So, which is how old is Enzo? He's 30 and Liv is like 23, right? Hold on.
Yeah.
And they're not even, and he's on the road and she's down in Florida, so I don't know how that would have worked, but I don't know. I don't understand wrestling relationships. And Enzo kind of seemed, it's funny because like there was, back in that feud with Lana, it was like, God, I really don't like this guy. And then like the cast promos, it was like, oh man, like that was this is gonna be some interesting stuff. He's doing some good babyface stuff, and then this came out and it was like, nah, all right, I don't care anymore. Like I'm very much over this whole bit.
Mhm. Like I wasn't big on Cass anyway, so like it's just like
good I mean, Cass was my bathroom break as we went over. Like he's literally my bathroom break. So yeah.
Shame on you, Enzo.
Yeah, shame on you, Enzo. Yeah, it's if you're in a strip club, you should tip the strippers well. Like I don't understand why you wouldn't do that, especially if you are like I'm not even gonna say the word you use, braggadocio. Like holy shit, you beat me with that one. But yeah, especially if you're acting all the big shot. Like, come on, the fuck out of here with that shit.
Right?
That's
like,
ridiculous.
That's the whole thing. She was expecting a big payday,
right?
Like those when somebody and she's not a follower of wrestling now. Heard of wrestling, she's like, well, I didn't know it was that popular, but if they say it is and he got this money, let me go get it.
Right. And it's not like there's a ton of high rollers rolling into Buffalo. It's Buffalo. So go and get it, but he wasn't offering, I guess. I don't know.
It's crazy to me. Like, how you gonna be like, and the thing that struck me as a black woman, like there's a certain sleazy kind of slumming aspect to it when you're dating the antithesis of what you're allegedly attracted to. It's no good. It's no good. I can't. Yeah, he is a cheap G. Like I've gotten tipped more just for bringing somebody a glass of water. And these women are literally there to be your sexual fantasy for the night. And you're bragging about how much money you got, and money ain't a thing. That's like if Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Drake pull into a strip club and they ain't tipping. It's like, why are you here? Like, leave that. She probably would have made more money just,
working on someone else. Yeah.
Some local joker. And I posted the tweet because it's a thread. Because it could, like, with each tweet she got, my mouth got wider and wider, and I was like, no. And for these people, I love how people, like, somebody's a stripper, that means they're automatically dishonorable
fuck those people,
not credible, and you need to cut that out. Cut it out. And it's just like, no, I can't. I'm done with Enzo. May he rest in peace.
I mean, wasn't there a bit on Bring It to the Table or whatever, and they were talking about the Heat, and they kind of confirmed like the bus story? Was that a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then Meltzer was like, I'm so glad that that story was confirmed because, you know, Melson's been getting a raw deal because a couple of his stories, people are just like, oh no, he's lying, he's making it up. Ever since the whole Morrow situation kind of blew up in his face a little bit, he's lost a lot of credibility. But he was not lying about that bus incident because and then I go to thinking about that video I saw on Twitter with him giving Roman them shoes, which he probably got for free. He didn't pay for them. He did not buy them shoes. We can pretty much confirm Enzo did not buy them shoes. But at first I was like, oh, that's cool. He giving Roman some shoes because he's a locker room leader. Yeah, because Roman kicked his ass off the bus. So
that's WWE is bizarre. I would love to just be a fly on the wall for a week and just see everything that goes down. Right?
Yeah, the mores and the way, like, the culture.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh yeah, he not only called the dancers whores, he alluded that all these women that we want to give chances to, that they started out as strippers. When there's no evidence that any of those women danced, and so the fuck what if they did?
Yeah.
I know a dancer who works out 5 days a week, watches her diet, she does research to incorporate new and different type of dances because she has a feature show at a club. So, like, these women, and yes, in every profession there are people who aren't any good and, you know, are kind of slagging off and are a bad influence. But most of the ladies that I know that dance, even if they make a complete career about it, they're still good people. That's just what they happen to do. So I don't like, and for a wrestler of all people to judge somebody,
a fucking wrestler,
and not even a good fucking wrestler at that. Enzo, like, come on, honestly, like, when's the last time, like, boy, I can't wait for that Enzo Amore match? Like, never in the history of ever. That's just somebody, like, he's probably, wrestling is a business where people like him are going to be around and mooch off the business for the longest time because he can talk. But Lord, I cannot. Okay, should we go to the next Twitter?
Just going down the Twitter. You know, it's funny. I was like, oh man, we're gonna do a trend. We're gonna transition here when it's gonna be like Enzo is. What did you just say? You just said, oh, the last time that nobody's like, I can't wait for this Enzo Amore match. I was gonna be like, speaking of people that we have no interest in seeing their matches, who get on Twitter lately. Our old favorite Lana was up to her tricks again. Our old favorite.
She's basically on Twitter, like, putting over being sexy over being a good in-ring competitor in this day and age, in this environment. And understand, like, there were a lot of wrestling fans back then who loved them some Sable, but they did not she did not get any respect in these smart streets as anything other than a TNA show. She never did, and women in her class, they didn't ever get that respect. So it's like, what? I just don't understand why you would say I'd rather be ravishing than a good in-ring competitor. Like, how does that fly out of your head? Please tell me this is one of the times that Rusev stole her phone and was tweeting. Please don't let me, like, just off of the chance that there might be a little girl watching you. Like, what is that to teach anyone? Why is Lana in the company? I could not tell you. I wish I knew. I really did. Because, like we were talking about, even on the subject of sexiness, I don't It's not to knock her. Don't get me wrong. She is a beautiful woman. I just don't find her sexy. I don't think she's not that sexy to me. Like, there's a lot of women I would take over her in the sexy department. So, like, when you're not even like the best at being sexy. Like, girl, I was like, oh no, baby, what is you doing? Please stop. No, abort. Oh, if she did, she said this tweet to Charlotte, and Charlotte was like, you know what? We just got different priorities. And then Becky tweeted at her like, you know, your wrestling talent goes farther. And then she doubled down on a tweet that didn't even make any sense, talking about you can't wrestle till you're 120, but you can still be ravishing. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure your maggot food, like 40 years isn't like, I'm pretty sure if we dig up somebody that died, like if we find somebody that's 120, however we dig them up with it, I'm sure there's going to be nothing ravishing about them. Like, she literally said she'd rather be attractive than good. And for the people like, this is a gimmick. This is her gimmick. Like, that ain't her gimmick on TV. Her gimmick on TV is she trying but failing to be a wrestler. That's her gimmick on TV. If her gimmick on TV was along this line, first of all, I would have serious problems with it because WWE is not good at that message at all. But I would kind of give her leeway. But like, people have done that before, where they like, she uses the word ravishing, so people like defend her. Oh, she said ravishing is a part of her gimmick. No, boo boo. No, boo boo. That's pure unadulterated bullshit coming out them tweets. She needs to stop tweeting. Like, somebody take her phone away. WWE's like, you know what? You are blocked from tweeting for like the next month. Put corner and think about what you've done. Like, seriously, like, who? I cannot even. Like, if I was even halfway her friend, I'd be like, girl, did you just say you rather be attractive than be a good wrestler? Sit your ass down somewhere. We out here trying to kill ourselves to get respect. No. I can't. That's how you build a like, if Charlotte don't squash her ass next week, just knock her down and put her in the figure 8 and that'd be it. Like, seriously, what? Oh Lord, I cannot.
Yeah,
they call more women.
I'm right. Seriously, my God. At a certain point, it's just like Lana getting clowned all the time in the ring is gonna have diminishing returns. I feel like we've already started to get there. Like, I love the Naomi trio. I love that. All that popped me so huge. Then hopefully Charlotte clowns her, and then it's just like, I don't want it. And then, oh, poor Becky. I just had a image in my head where like Lana gets a cheap roll-up win on Becky, and I'm just, oh, poor Becky. Look,
if that happens, I don't advocate for shooting, but
well, Becky's got to learn to shoot. She's gonna get into a shoot fight here over on Twitter with this cyborg lady. I don't know. I actually don't know her name.
I mean, isn't that her name, Cyborg?
Yeah, but she has a real name, right?
Doesn't matter. She's Cyborg.
That's her name.
That's an MMA person. That don't matter till they enter wrestling. That's how I feel.
Right? Yeah, they're fake. I tell you, yeah. Charlotte's tweet was good, but I kind of wish she would have just been like, "Then why am I wrestling you next week?" Like, I kind of wish she just would have just shot, like, and just been, and like, because she was just like, "Oh, we have different priorities," but she should have just been like, "Then fuck you. I don't want to wrestle. You're not worth my fucking time." That would have been great. Although I pop for basically everything Charlotte does now because the world has turned. So, that would have been great. I didn't even see Becky get involved, but Becky on Twitter last night was killing me because I swear to God, Becky at like 11:30 gets on Twitter after she's had 2 glasses of wine and just fucking tweets for like half an hour, just a little buzzed. And I call her 2 Drink Becky, and it's my favorite person on Twitter. I swear to God, it just kills me every time. It's great. Yeah. See, there's good stuff in wrestling. It's just mixed with awful stuff.
Oh, so I'm gonna pose this question because I know people. When soon as Bailey got injured, let's not blame Nia Jax.
Oh boy.
Why not? Seth got shit from Bret Hart and everybody else after Finn Bailey got injured. How come we gotta go soft on Nia? Because she's a woman? No. There's been 3 instances now where somebody had a bad spot and Nia Jax was their opponent. She dropped Charlotte on her head right after WrestleMania. And a lot of people don't realize that, but there was like, people had to send out like, yeah, Charlotte got dropped on her head, but she's okay. She was just a little banged up. She didn't get a concussion. But that absolutely happened where people were like wondering, like, is Charlotte okay? And they were like, yeah, Charlotte's okay. And that was sloppy. I don't give a fuck.
That was 100% slop.
It was a shoulder break. All she had to do was just I don't know. Like,
not drop her on her head.
Right, not drop her on her fucking head. And then there was the incident with Emma, where Emma's eye was like, it looked like some blood vessels burst or something after their match, and now this. So, like, yeah, we always like she needs to be more aggressive, but like, maybe she don't. Like, I just don't like. It's clear to me. I don't know about anybody else. She's just not getting it. Like, and I said, and it's just not me picking on Nia, because I said the same thing about Baron Corbin. Like, they've been in the consistent spot and for over a year now, and the reactions are just not there. Nia Jax, and I know it's the music and how she comes out, but okay, for instance, if you gave Roman Reigns that same interest, do you think people would not boo him as soon as they see him? Yes. She gets no reaction. It's still like, okay, well, here she comes. And like, I just don't like, I think some serious evaluation needs to go down to how valuable Nia Jax is to the division. That's all.
You know, it's this is kind of related. You know what's funny is I just woke up from a nap before we did this show, and I had a dream that prominently involved 2 old high school friends, Nia Jax, and a discussion over potato chips.
Really?
I swear to God, that's a shoot. I swear to God, I don't really remember what else happened. We were at like some club or bar or something. It was very confusing. It was very confusing. That's why I've been in like a haze for the past like 30 minutes, just trying to piece together what my brain was going through in that moment in time. It was some weird shit, man. Some weird shit going on, I tell you.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm here for, is comic relief.
Okay, so in that same vein, since we're talking about that, we also have to talk about Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, yeah, that.
Dropping John Cena on his fucking head. Yeah, I know that's the shit in New Japan. I get it, but let's try not to do that. Now, yeah. And like, people were like, well, Cena didn't rotate, or the way Cena's built and all that. I mean, okay, but let's try to. And then apparently Baron Corbin hit his head on the
announce table or something.
Yeah. like I know it's wrestling and people get hurt, they get injured, that happens, but just don't kill each other. It's not actually a shoot. That's all I'm saying about that. SummerSlam is kind of filling out, especially on the SmackDown side. I don't think they made any new matches for Raw, but they signed like 2 matches at least for SummerSlam for SmackDown, which neither one I'm particularly interested in.
No, yeah.
But let's go ahead and banter about those. The first one is I just dubbed this the world's most disappointing feud between AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. It's
Boy,
not over.
That is accurate.
It's not over because Kevin Owens' shoulder clearly was not down when he got pinned. So there's a rematch, and Shane McMahon will be the referee. I suppose they're adding Shane to kind of spice it up and make this thing interesting. But kind of what that tells me is that KO's from here on out is probably going to be feuding with Shane and not AJ.
Yeah.
So, and
it was weird when Brian backstage was like, "I got a ref for you," and then they were both like, "Oh, who?" And he's like, "Shane," and Shane was like, "The fuck?" And then like 4 seconds later, he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I was like, "Wait, what? No, that was not consistent with what how you just reacted to the idea." Like he literally was just like, that seems like an awful idea. I think he's gonna murder me in this match. And then he's like, "You know what? Fuck it, I'll do it. Hell yeah, I'm the ref." That's great. That's gonna be wild. I hope they just ham the fuck out of that match and Barclays just do ridiculous shit. I feel like ever since they botched the finish, then like the ref bump that missed Mike Chioda by a mile, like he was not even close to being actually hit. It was some TNA level ref bump shit there. And then the pin was the most hilarious thing in the world. I popped. It was so dumb. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie.
Wasn't Kevin Owens like yelling during the pin? Like, I know you got hit in your eye, but what was wrong with your fucking ear?
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
It reminded me of the old Hogan Andre pin where Hogan has his shoulder up. Remember when Andre wins the title on like Saturday Night Main Event or whenever that happened, and then sold it to Ted DiBiase. All you youngins, this is some history for you.
Well, Hogan's shoulder was probably up because Hogan never wanted to ever fucking take a pin ever.
Yeah, that was actually a shoot. Like the match was supposed to be a clean Andre win, and Hogan shot and put his shoulder up probably.
Hogan was the master of kicking out at 3 in a fucking half.
Oh my God! Against Ultimate Warrior, that's inexcusable.
Oh, I fucking hate it.
Every time I see that pisses me off.
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash had to play reverse psychology on this motherfucker for him to put Piper over at Super Brawl. Like they had to like convince him that like him putting Piper over was actually like putting Hogan over in a way. Like, and when I heard that story, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? How huge is your ego? It's not real." And then at that point, in like mid-90s, most of us knew it wasn't fucking real. Like, what? Oh, see, I'm telling you, I got this intuition. I never liked that motherfucker. I
didn't either. I'm with you, Tier. I'm with you.
I never liked that motherfucker, and I was proven right.
Yeah.
It took like 20 years.
It was a long build, but it came out in the end.
Oh God. Okay, so the next match that they signed on SmackDown for SummerSlam is Randy Orton versus Rusev, because apparently Randy Orton's not going to stop till he gets rid of all these evil foreigners. Oh Jesus! like that would kind. I would kind of like that gimmick if Randy Orton's like, look, maybe I just don't like foreigners.
Right.
I kind of pop for that, you know. So, call me crazy, but Randy might do the job.
You think so?
Just simply because, like, I don't think wins and losses at this point in his career. Like, I think he could show up and just be like, "What am I doing? I'm losing again. Cool,
Yeah.
let's do it." Like, I don't think that at all matters to him. He just wants to come, get his check, do his RKO. Who am I supposed to put over? Right.
Did you see the tweet he liked? Or
No.
retweeted rather. It was from that like WWE kayfabe humor account or whatever, and it was like, I'm gonna pull it up actually. I'm gonna get this right. It was really good because it was like ripping on all the matches he had recently. It was kind of oh fucking hell!
What?
I just pulled up Randy Orton's Twitter account, and the top tweet is a retweet from David Clark, the Sheriff Clark. Motherfucker! Oh! God, this sucks. Why did I do this? All right, back to the creative humor now. Quote, I'll fight you. Just no Punjabi prison matches or House of Horrors or flag matches or any other bullshit matches. In quote, dash Randy Orton. And Randy Orton retweeted it, which is kind of funny. But fuck, man! God! Why did I do this? Remind me never to look at Randy Orton's Twitter account ever again.
Right.
God.
I mean, hey, it's Randy Orton. Like,
I know, but still.
Like, I'm telling you, like, I have a theory in my head that the minute that, like, Roman started to become a locker room leader when he fucking stood up to that piece of shit. Like, that is my theory in my head because Randy.
When did he stand up to Orton? I don't know this story.
Okay. When the Shield it was the summer of 2013, and the Shield was getting heat because some people said that they took their gimmick too seriously, particularly Roman and Seth, and that Randy Orton would target them and say shit to them. So there was a mistake it was a house show match, and Randy Orton's like trying to pull his shit that he's pulled with several people, like call him out and curse him out, and Roman wasn't having that shit, and he cursed his ass right back out. So because of this, they got Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns got relegated to the pre-show, but they fucked up because they were facing the Usos. So, you know, the Usos were trying to get on TV more.
Mm-hmm.
And their cousins got heat backstage.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we're just going to go out. Like, if whoever has not, SummerSlam 2013 pre-show, Rollins and Reigns versus the Usos, one of the best fucking tag team matches in the modern era. They tore the motherfucking house down. And after that, they said they came backstage and they pretty much knew that they no longer had heat. Pretty much. Like, it was all good. No, it wasn't SummerSlam, it was Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Let me correct myself. It was Money in the Bank.
2013? I'm gonna look this up later.
It wasn't SummerSlam. Because Ambrose was actually in one of the Money in the Bank matches, which kind of like proves the story that it was more Seth and Dean that had the heat, and Seth and Roman that had the heat, and
not Dean. Yeah.
So yeah. So in my head, that's when I was like, And then Randy's always complaining about how none of the new guys come asking for advice. You tried to fucking bury the hottest act on the roster. I didn't come and ask you for no fucking advice either. Like, what the fuck? Like, excuse me, sir. How do you bury somebody you don't like? Oh, Orton is still the same guy who used to sexually harass the women on the roster. And Maria Canales and Kelly. He drug her through the mud and was talking about how all the men she slept with backstage, which, like, if she wanted to, like, have a whole line of men waiting, why is it his business? He mad he wasn't in that Congo line? Like, seriously. There is a story about Randy Orton when he first became world champion, that he walked up to a group of women in a club and said, which one of y'all want to suck my cock? So, yeah, he may have come a long way, but he's still that same person. Absolutely. So, Rusev ain't my favorite, especially considering who he married to and how I think he enables that behavior. But I hope Rusev does beat him, because he has more upside at this point than Randy.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Rusev could go on a little monster tear run, especially considering, like, the biggest monster they have on SmackDown is Baron Corbin. So it's not like
who sucks. Yeah.
Big lad. So yeah.
Speaking of Rusev, he had
a
wild TV match. Chad Gable. Boy, I tell you, Gable was already getting Gable. He was getting, like, the crowd into it big time in his first singles match. He's had a couple of singles matches before, but that was still, like, ostensibly Alpha was still a thing at that time.
Yeah.
You know, even if we, like, were like, oh, what's that? Something's going on here. But yeah, boy, I tell you, he was getting the float over belly to bellies. Like, those were huge. People were going nuts for the.
Can we talk about how he was doing Kurt Angle stuff?
How he's doing his moves.
Yes, and Jason Jordan really isn't. So it's like, is there something there?
Is there another twist in this tale? Please don't. Please just let it be like what it is now. I don't need another twist.
You don't think it could be interesting where they're like, I posted Kyle Decker, who also contributes to Cagesiders Seats, tweeted that Jason Jordan might be Angle's son, but that doesn't mean
Chad
isn't. Gable isn't.
Yeah.
Right? It's just either that, or it's like he's doing that to make a point, and I don't think how much of a homer, like, a lot of the agents are. I don't think that they would allow him to, like the agents. I don't think they would say, yeah, do all of Kurt Angle's shit just to, like, throw shade at a Raw Angle. Like, I don't think it's like that much Game of Thrones backstage, but who knows?
No, yeah. Let's hope not. Shit.
Yeah, because why would you? Please don't tell that kid to do that, because that's like Vince's personal angle. Please don't do that. He will bear.
Where did you go? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh. Yeah, you got some microphone issues going on.
Yes. Yeah, I have a terrible mic. I'm trying to hold it together. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a great match though. Chad Gable has it, and like, if he keeps shining, and then Jason Jordan's kind of like, and Jason's on the, like, A show, like, can't just be decent on Raw.
Yeah, you got to step up and.
Yeah, especially with the level that, like, the main event is performing at such a level.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of has to pick their shit up, I think the tag teams are taking that cue, because I'm really interested in what could happen with Dean and Steph. Oh my God.
Right.
I love it. Like, they're doing a complex story and they're doing it well. Like, I cannot believe that.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on?
Like,
how is this a thing?
Like, and I can kind of buy Dean's story that Seth picks this fight with a tag team, knowing that he's going to get his ass kicked and that the crowd's going to want Dean to come save him. And Dean looks like the bad guy if he doesn't. But then, like, during the beatdown when Dean was out there, he was fucking crawling towards Seth. Like, I was holding my heart like, oh my God, no, it's happening. And it's like, all the emotion from the breakup was between those two.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't think Roman really needs to be involved in this. This is kind of like, it's Shield related, but it's not quite the Shield yet. Because Roman's like, I think I've explained to people why, like, it wasn't that big a deal to Roman versus Dean. Like, Dean was the only child, grew up really rough, didn't have a real big family. So the people that got close to him, he really, really fucking trusted. And like, Roman has a million cousins, and he like,
yeah.
And I have a big family, so you're bound to, like, there's a cousin that you might love him, but you can't fucking stand him. So it's like really no big deal to Roman because he's always had that family and he's always had these type of bonds. So it wasn't that much of a heartbreak to him. So he was more able to pick himself up and move on from it. Whereas Dean and his background, it makes it harder. So, Lord, that story. And God, if they make them tag team champions, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be so full of emotion. I think that's like where they're going, where Steph and Dean gonna be a reluctant team against Sheamus
and Cesaro.
Yeah. And that's why they have the other three tag teams just like bumbling around with each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, which, like, I don't know, maybe they'll like try to throw all of them in a match together and Dean and Seth fail, but then I think No Mercy is the next pay-per-view and it's a Raw pay-per-view this time. So like maybe they'll get another shot at it but I'm very interested. Like, some people are saying this is gonna lead to a Dean heel turn, and
I don't see that at all.
Like, how could you, like, WWE is tone deaf on a lot of shit, but I just do not believe they're that damn tone deaf.
Yeah. That's a step too far.
Yeah, before we leave this subject, can we all talk about Burn It Down?
Oh my God. That was, I swear, that was one of the most amusing things I've ever seen is just Twitter at that moment. Everyone being like, the fuck was that? Literally my entire timeline of wrestling folk.
Yeah.
All the other journalists were obviously not tweeting about it, but you know.
It's scary. I'm not gonna lie, I felt kind of old because it was a jump scare. I was like, what the fuck?
The fuck?
Jeez, yeah, don't do that to me. So now that I know it's coming, I can brace for it. But seriously, I'll listen to that shitty faux heavy metal, and all of a sudden somebody just screams, "Burn it down!" And then I'm sitting here like scared, waiting for the rest of the song, and that was it. So like, there was a lot of new music this week, actually. Well, that's not new, but it was like revamped. Yeah. Jason Jordan. Like, I don't know if you remember like GeoCities where you could like you could take a piano and a bass and other things and like mix it together and make your own theme. Sometimes, like, that was like back in the day because I used to make wrestling websites, and that's what his song reminded me of. Like, really badly put together music, very bad. It was terrible. And I think Big Cass's music is an improvement, but it's still kind of seems like they're trying to make him Diesel.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like they're trying to make him Diesel.
He is not Diesel.
No, he's not. He's barely Test.
Yeah.
And the Usos. Oh, which we did not talk about how they fucking trolled the shit.
That was great. That was really good.
Like at first, you thought it was Big E until he started varying from like what Big E says. And then their music, they have them rapping on it, which I have not heard. I haven't listened to the song yet, but I can't wait to, because I'm just so glad that, like, I remember when everybody hated the Usos and they sucked and get rid of them and I can't stand them. And I was just sitting there like, when did everybody start hating the Usos? And I still like them and I still stuck with them. And now they let them turn heel and let them be themselves more. And I love it. I really do. I loved everything about that segment. The Twin Peaks thing.
Woo! That was some good shit. That was really good.
You remember that show? Because I'm going to tell you, like, I know my mom, when I was a little girl, used to watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember as a little girl, like, being confused as fuck. Like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what, like, I was like, what? Wasn't it like, was that the show that was set in the hospital?
Hospital?
Is that not the show? That was not a hospital? And, like, it ended up, like, it was in a snow globe. Like, it was, like, a kid. It was set in some kid's mind or something. I don't know. I can't, like, maybe I'm crossing up stupid shows my mom used to watch. I don't remember what the fuck that show was about.
There was a woman who was, like, killed, and then this detective comes in and tries to investigate, and everything is all fucked up and weird and just gets bizarre, basically.
St. Elmo's Fire is the show I was.
Yeah, I was like, hospital. What the hell are you talking about?
That was the show where it turned out it was in the little kid's mind. Was that a David Lynch show too?
I don't know. Maybe it's possible. If it was really fucking weird, then maybe.
Most of I still to this day, like, my mom sits and watches Murder, She Wrote episodes that I swear to God she has seen before, and watches like she's never seen it. It's the weirdest thing, like. But anyway, that I loved the segment, but like, are we supposed to take those clues seriously?
Did Breeze actually figure it out? I don't, like, it doesn't make sense if he figured it out from that shit. Like, because none of it made sense.
On wood.
The syrup on wood was fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. And then the whole bit where, like, they all start fake laughing. It's just like Fandango's face doing the fake laughing is the most captivating thing I've ever watched in any medium. I swear to God, I was just like, this is incredible. What is going on? I loved it so much. It was amazing. I actually sent it to a couple of my good friends, non-wrestling friends who are big Twin Peaks fans, and they're like, yeah, that was pretty good, actually. And I was like, yeah! Look at that. Wrestling. Getting over.
I don't really remember that show, though.
Yeah, it was on in like 90, 91, so it was, we were pretty young.
Yeah. So I was like, and my kids were watching it like with the weirdest and I was like, for once, I can relate, kids, because I don't know what the hell. Like, I heard of the show, but I didn't know what references, and then they had Lynch, and I was like, why did they have that? But it was a show by David Lynch.
So, yeah.
I got it after, I read, but I thought it was cool. And I was also like, I cannot wait for, like, Fashion Blue and 21 Fashion Street. You said Fashion Wire.
It's never going to happen, but I want it so bad.
They seem to be, like, modeling after all these cop shows. So, like, I can't wait for the next one.
Fashion Homicide, Life on the Streets.
Right?
Boom, let's do it.
Oh, I used to love that show.
Yeah, I think at this point, it kind of seems obvious that it can't be the Wyatt Bros, because they've built it too much for that. I feel like it, and the fact that Eric Young has been off NXT TV for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months now straight, and the commentator's been like, Eric Young's off doing his own thing or whatever, advancing the mission of sanity or some shit. And I'm just like, I think it's gonna be sanity. Also because, my God, Nikki Cross would be such a breath of fresh air for SmackDown's women's division. It'd be a huge bummer if they called up Sanity and just had Nikki stay down in NXT. That would be
no point.
That would be tremendously upsetting. Please do not do this to us, WWE.
And like, I know people are like worried, but like, I think she's so good. There's certain people like I don't really get worried about their call up.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of them. Like, I don't really think they can. They were like, well, they're just gonna make her crazy just to be crazy. I'm like, that's the point of her craziness on NXT. Like, come on now, let's not make the gimmick more than it is now.
Yeah. She's just violent as fuck.
Right, it's really hollow now. Don't try to.
Yeah.
They can't strip it any more than it is. She's fucking.
If anything, it'll give more definition on the main roster.
Right, and it's a plus because she hasn't gotten that pushed, and we know Vince really kind of digs non-pushed NXT acts.
Yep.
So yeah, that's good. What else was there? I know, like, we didn't really talk about the triple threat, but like, I'm satisfied. Like,
it was whatever, you know.
I was disappointed because like you had Brock there.
Yeah.
Just have him go out and interfere.
Just have a brawl. Yeah, like why? Yeah.
Stop paying that man to come and giggle at what Paul Heyman says. God damn it. And say shit every now and again. Stop. He's getting paid way too much money for him to just come and giggle at his friend talking. That's all he does. Stand there with a little smirk. Yeah. And like, Heyman's, like, his thing makes no sense. These three guys are trying to kill each other to get at Brock. Ain't nobody trying to get that title off Brock. I was sitting there like, Heyman, please, you and Brock need to stop doing your little contract negotiation agendas live on Raw, because that's fucking up the story they're telling. He came out there, seriously, he came out there and told a completely different story than the one we've been watching without Brock. They trying to get rid of him and he leaving. Nobody gives a fuck. Leave. You're gonna fail another drug.
Right, seriously.
Like that. Like, seriously, if y'all think Brock Lesnar is not gonna be at WWE after WrestleMania 34, what else the fuck he gonna do? He is serious. And unless he going home.
Unless he just retires, yeah.
Exactly. And I don't think so, because Vince still giving up them coins.
Right.
Lord, see, fucking around with me, Brock would be at home, because I call his bluff. He'd be like, well, I'm gonna go to UFC. I'm like, all right. Good luck.
Heyman's promo doesn't make sense.
None.
Because it's like he doesn't watch the product and then comes in and tries some cute like shoot-esque promo, and none of it makes sense.
In this situation, it didn't work at all. Because if that was the case, then Ron, Joe, and Roman would all be like, we're not going to face each other. We're going to save ourselves so we can tear Brock apart. No, these guys are willing to kill each other to get a chance to fight Brock. They all want to fight him one-on-one. So they can prove that they're the ones that can beat him. So when Heyman comes out there, and I'm sure he popped his little fans or whatever, but it don't make no sense to the story that they're telling. Why the hell would Vince want to get that title off of Brock? when the last time that title made his debut in Barclays, it was a joke. People could pay attention to the match that was jeering the belt. I bet you that's not gonna happen this time. So no, it didn't make better sense. It didn't make storyline sense. It was just Heyman spouting his bullshit and doing his long contract negotiations on TV. That's what that was. Nobody like who cares? This man is not going nowhere. Okay, what else? Are you ready for your reading?
Oh, you know what's funny? I was going to suggest your mic is really giving me feedback, by the way. I was going to suggest 10 o'clock as the 10 o'clock hour as my reading. So, all right. You might want to mute and see what's going on with my mic. All right. Okay, folks. We went over this comic book last week, right? And I decided I don't even think I brought the right one. I didn't buy the one with the meat scene, unfortunately. But I bought off of Amazon Boom Studios WWE number 7. It's got a picture of Dean Ambrose driving a car, about to get hit by a big semi and a car chasing him. So I'm gonna do once a week, every week at the 10 o'clock hour. This is gonna be story time with Andrew, and this is a very special. I'm gonna give you the rundown for what this comic is. This is a very special edition because it's Dean Ambrose and Sasha Banks driving around fighting crime and shit. I don't know what's really going on. I haven't read any of the older ones. But so I'm going to do my very best impersonations, which, by the way, are awful. And I have to admit, if I break down in laughter half the way through from doing my ridiculous Sasha Banks voice, it's a possibility. It might happen. So anyway, let's do it. Okay, let's get going. My cat just interrupted me. Hold on one second. This is one sketchy looking joint. Sign says it's the last truck stop for the next 50 miles, and my truck is running on fumes. So let's cross our fingers that these hills have both eyes and fresh coffee. Black 2 sugars, yeah. What is this Sasha Banks voice? This is not her voice. I can't do it. You know it. Wouldn't turn down a day-old donut if they have any. And then Sasha goes inside. Please point me in the. I can't do it. I just want to do like a mixture of like anger, but it comes out as come hither for some reason. It's very confusing. There's a lot of weird psychology going on right now. Please point me in the direction of your discount pastries. My co-pilot fancies himself a lunatic and likes to prove it by chowing down stale sweet bread. What's that? Just 2 coffees to go, please. I'm not big on I told you so, but this place has that wrong place, right time stink. It could smell from the highway. Now we're here. I've got some big mouth breather on my 6 and a sinking suspicion this just turned into a work night. Luke Harper, don't tell me this is Wyatt country. I guess that explains the smell. So that was our first 2 pages, and I'm gonna have to work on my voices because that was not very good. But this is a commitment I have made to y'all. We used to do a thing for a couple of weeks where we would sing theme songs, but then that got old real fast because we didn't want to do that because it was embarrassing. Also, we ran out of good theme songs to sing, frankly. So now I'm just going to be doing dramatic readings, and I promise I'll prepare more next week because this one was not very good. I'm disappointed. Granted, I have not gotten to the meat of this story. So, yeah. These comic books are something else, though, let me tell you. They are chock full with innuendo and some kidnappings and some some Bray Wyatt alluding to himself liking the darkness and having an earned reputation for liking the darkness, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, you can go on Amazon. You can buy them. They're $4 for the digital edition, $6 for the physical copy. And we are not being paid by WWE to say this, by the way. I just like to point that out. Or are we? I can't tell if you're back now. Should I just keep doing my reading? Are you gone? Have we lost Tonya? Oh boy. Guys, I don't know what else to say. All right, well, while Tonya is working on her stuff, I guess I'll field questions from the audience. What shows do you guys want to see spoofed by Fashion Files, by Breezango? We've talked about how I wanted to see The Wire. I would love to see like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine bit if they were just amusing, you know? Oh, Tonya says her mic is fucked, so I'm flying solo. This is exciting now. Yeah, so I'd hope they kind of keep doing it, and I hope even after like the revelation of who attacks them comes out, that they still kind of work these parody angles, if not every week, at least every once in a while, because it's been really good television and really helped SmackDown quite a bit. Have get its feel back for what it was like back in last fall and last winter. Other than that, what else happened in WWE television this week? I did not watch NXT because, like I said, I was taking a nap and having strange dreams about dill, pickle, potato chips, high school friends, and Nia Jax in a bar. And Nia Jax was mad at me in this dream. I'm going to tell you what I think happened when I woke up, what I can best remember. I think she was mad at Tonya and I for like talking shit about her and Lexi, if I remember right. It was very confusing. And then like some old high school friends were there and they like somehow knew each other. It was very confusing. And it was kind of like, it's kind of like how every dream is kind of like a David Lynch TV show. It's all metaphor and nothing makes sense, really, you know? It's just a whole bunch of mishmash thrown together. Okay, I have not watched either Justified or Renegade, so those answers do not help me. But I appreciate it, Adam and Marcel. I don't know those shows, though. What else happened in WWE this week? Kyle O'Reilly debuted on NXT, apparently. I've only seen like 1 or 2 matches of him when he was in Evolve for a minute, and I didn't really care for him. He's an old Ring of Honor guy, I guess. Whatever, that's a thing. Those guys are a dime a dozen. Until you give me something like with the Roddy Strong vignettes, I really don't care about any of those. Like Bobby Fish, I don't know who that guy is. I assume all these guys I don't know are old Ring of Honor guys. Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, they're just all whatever to me. They're not a whole lot of exciting. Ember Moon hit the Eclipse on Asuka. It'll be a really big bummer if Ember Moon does not go over for her in Barclays, because then like you have to do like an immediate call up with her, because they're not going to do an angle with all the new babyface women coming in where she's going to like go on like a year-long redemption run. They already had her redemption arc, and this is it right now. So if she loses, she just kind of has to go up onto SmackDown, which desperately needs more workers. Like put Nikki and either Asuka or Ember on SmackDown, and all of a sudden that division looks a whole lot better, So hopefully that's the case, and we get that. But I would like to see Ember go over. I think she'll get a good reaction in Barclays. She got a pretty good reaction in Chicago, and that was before like people really started getting behind her, even in Full Sail. And Full Sail is kind of like the canary in the coal mine, where if you get a good reaction down there, it seems to translate to takeover crowds. And takeover crowds, especially in Brooklyn, are always hot as hell. Like they're going to be fire for that. So looking forward to that. That's coming up in only a couple of weeks. That's God, 3 weeks from tomorrow, I'm heading up to Brooklyn actually for like 6 days. It's gonna be an event, folks. It's gonna be a long, crazy weekend. I guess we'll have a show the following Wednesday, Saturday afternoons. I don't watch TV show on Saturday. What are you talking about, Marcel? Yeah, we'll probably have a show the following Saturday or the following Wednesday after TakeOver, SummerSlam, Raw, and SmackDown Live, which I I do have tickets for all 4 at the moment. Although there might be a moment where I just have to, drop the SmackDown tickets or the Raw tickets or something. It's just too much wrestling. That might happen to me. Wait, I think Tonya might be reappearing. Maybe I thought I just heard something from her. Other than that, you guys can go. You should read my Becky Lynch epic if you haven't read that. The 1 and 2 parters. First part came out July 4th. It was what the hell was it even called? Oh, Finding Her Own Way. Becky Lynch Identity in Wrestling, and that was a decent length. It was like 3,300 words, and the one I put out on Monday was like 8,300 words, which it was supposed to kind of be like a 1 and 2 parter, like half, equal length or whatever. But it turns out her main roster story is much more developed than her NXT story was. So I had a lot more to say on that. So that was some good stuff. I think you guys should go read that and give me some hits and clicks and recs. It's always appreciated it. Oh boy. All right. I'm flying solo for as long as I want now. This is exciting. Okay. Tanya's mic is fucked. So you're riding with me. So get in your questions right now. I guess I'll do a bit. If you have some really important, I will literally answer anything you ask of me in this thread right now. That is a shoot. You can ask anything you want about wrestling or non-wrestling. And I will give you an answer because I'm just trying to fill time right now. And that's apparently how I'm going to fill time. It's funny, like 1 week after I attended Raw when I was like so high, and you guys heard me last week about how high I was on WWE. Just maybe no, just absolutely gushing about my experience at Raw last week, and then it's just WWE just brings you down. Like I don't even think Raw was terrible. It wasn't like very good by any means, and SmackDown I liked quite a bit, but it just the negative brand association is such a strong pull in the wrong direction. It's very unfortunate, and it's really not ever going to change, as Tonya and I have gone over many, many times before, until there's a new leadership at the very top. Bella RD3, is that Bella for the Bella twins? I have to assume that is. Asks, who do you think will win the Fatal 4-Way? Okay, so this is 2 different questions. Who do I think should win the Fatal 4-Way? Well, if the program for Mania is Roman Cena, I don't know if that necessarily needs the title. I really don't know if that needs the title. So I think you might want to do like Braun. I think Braun winning the title should and will. I think I'm going to go both Braun Strowman. I just feel like it's his time. I feel like it's a time to put over a hot act, and he is a super hot act. And the reaction in Barclays to his win will be one of the biggest babyface reactions you will ever hear. Like, people will lose their fucking mind. Oh, Adam, that's a really good question. Cena versus Nakamura opinion. I liked it. I thought it needed like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 minutes more time. But I hope they get a longer match on a pay-per-view, because it felt like it was like 9:51 Eastern time. And I was like, this match has been going for like 7 minutes or so, but I feel like it needs another 18 and not another 8, So I kind of wanted it to get more time. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a really fun match. I thought Nakamura was good. I thought Cena was good. The whole thing was surreal, just with Jinder Mahal as WWE champion in the Skybox. Like, what the hell happened? You know, that's just utterly bizarre. But don't really have any opinion on Heath Slater's new wrestling school. I think I like Heath Slater's mind for the business in terms of I think he's got some good ideas about wrestling. I really liked. I really thought that he had a lot of his own hand in his arc last summer and last fall when he was a free agent and then got SmackDown Live and did the tag tourney with Rhino and won the titles at Backlash. I thought he was a big part of pitching that angle and what to do with that, or at least that was my impression. And so I think he could be a guy. Like it seems like a lot of wrestling schools these days just teach like the physical aspect, and they don't necessarily teach the psychological aspect, or just wrestling nuance and what it is to be a wrestler and how to act. And I don't think wrestling schools are doing a very good job at finishing people in that sense. So hopefully a guy like Heath, who has a different perspective, can improve that a little bit. Adam asked a really good question. How does writing one of your character articles, like the one on Becky, typically begin? What's your process like? Well, it's a very long process. I'll say that. I'll go into a little backstory here. The Sasha stuff, my first articles in Cageside, which were just fan posts at the time that I would put up at posts at 4 in the morning or whatever. Those were, the first one happened a couple weeks after TakeOver Brooklyn 2015. It had to be Labor Day weekend. It was a 3-day weekend, so it had to be Labor Day weekend. And I spent, going into that Friday, I didn't really have plans because I just spent a bunch of money in Brooklyn or whatever, so I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to hang around DC and see what's going on. So I decided, you know what, I'm really into this Sasha Banks cat right now. I'm going to go back and watch her. I'm going to go back and see how she became, the person that utterly blew my fucking mind, in Barclays, 2 weeks ago. So I kind of was just watching old NXT stuff. And I don't know, at a certain point on like Saturday, I guess, I was just like, you know what? I should write this up. I don't know. It was just kind of like that first article, those first couple of articles that were like Sasha, and then there was like one on Sasha and Bayley, but it was like 80% Sasha, let's be real. Those were kind of just like works of passion. Like those didn't really have much thought go into them. And in fact, when I look back on them now, they're kind of shit. Admittedly, they're not very good. They're not structured all that well, and they have less of a point than the ones about Bayley, and especially the Becky one ended up having. They had less of a narrative and less of a thesis, I guess. I had a decent point about Sasha Banks' character, which I think popped her in a big way, which is why she reacted, because I really understood her character like from the get-go. But yeah, those first couple of works were just works of passion, basically just pouring words out, and that was just kind of spitting shit on the page. And I didn't have any obligation, I wasn't on staff or anything like that. I wasn't on the masthead, so I could just post those at 4 in the morning and see whatever. And they didn't really get big actually until, I guess an hour, like it was like really weird, like an hour after posting the first one, because I had tagged Sasha in the tweet after I posted it. I was like, I'm a ridiculous mark, and wrote 4,000 words about, evolution of a boss. And an hour later, my phone starts buzzing at like 5:30 in the morning, and it's just like quote tweet, and I'm like, oh shit! Like, so she actually kind of blew me up in a big way, which I have obviously lots of appreciation for. She put me over in a big way first couple of times, and that sort of affirmment of the writing and what I was doing. Yes, I will. To answer your most recent question, Adam, yes, there's a Charlotte piece coming. but like Sasha, like it felt really cool to have like this person who noise.
Hello?
Oh my God!
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Just go ahead. Go ahead. I was enjoying it.
Okay. As we're doing like story time with Andrew now. So yeah, so like getting that affirmation from someone whose work you respect in like a tremendous way, which is, you know, I have that tremendous respect for Mercedes' work as Sasha Banks. I was just like, oh shit, I'm gonna keep writing stuff. Like that felt good to like get that affirmation. So that kind of happened, and then like after the Brooklyn match and then the Respect match, I was like, fuck, I'm like kind of digging Bayley now too, which I told Tonya this the other day. It's a true story. When I first got into NXT, I fucking hated Bayley. I thought she was such a geek and so lame. I was like, this person is the dumbest character ever. I did not like her at all, you know, but, you know, time happened and obviously got into her in quite a big way. But the Bayley article, which later became 27 fucking thousand words over a 10-week span, which was insane, frankly, started like right after TakeOver Respect. Like I have notes from TakeOver Respect and like some images taken from like that next weekend. Like I'm gonna work on Bayley stuff, and those sorts of epics like take time out of you, you know? And like at that point I didn't really have enough material to go on, you know? And so like as her story developed, you know, by the following spring in 2016, I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually have to like get around to this now. Like it felt like it was time. So by that time I had all kinds of shit to write about, obviously. And wrote the hell out of that series, which was insane. That was the one where an editor really would have helped, because I probably could have cut 5,000 words off of that, and it would have been a lot better. It's actually interesting. I'll go on a little side note here. My articles on the horsewomen, like how I wrote the articles, are kind of allegoric for my relationship as a fan with each of the characters. Like Sasha Banks, like I said, 4 a.m. fucking works of passion. Like this character is so fucking cool. I have to write it and I have to publish whatever I'm saying right now. Like it was just like that. I had to do it. You know, that was the thing. Bayley was the thing. Like I started and I was like, okay, whatever, blah, blah. And then sat on for a very, 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 very long time. And then finally it was like, you know what? I think it was like enough frustration. It was probably like the WrestleMania match where Sasha didn't go over. And I was like, fuck this shit. I'm writing about Bayley. I'm going back to NXT, you know? I'm writing about NXT shit. They do fun shit down there. So I think that was like a kind of impetus there. And Bayley was the thing where I was just like, it kind of grew on me over time to the point where I had to, you know, put out what I put out. It was just like, it was a feeling of like, I had to explain why this character is more than it seems. Like, because people even to this day are like, oh, she, you know, it's such a, you know, boring character. It's minute, like blah, blah, blah. You know, she's just a little fangirl or whatever. And there's a lot more to the character than that. And I really felt like that needed to be brought out. So that was the idea behind the Bayley thing. The Becky thing also started like it probably started like after her title win at Backlash in 2016, and then definitely got going after her promo following the tables match. Was it the tables match? I think it was during the Alexa feud. It may have been one of the contract signings where I was like, all right, I need to start working on this more a little bit. But obviously it's August and it has just been finished, you know. So that one took some time in the sense that I didn't really know what I was saying. And Becky kind of, for me, I really identify with the struggling aspect of her relationship of like wanting something and not having it and, you know, working for it and kind of being a little bit, dark and cynical. There's a little bit of Becky that's like a little bit dark and cynical in the sense of like, she knows it's not destiny. Like you have to fight for every fucking inch that you get. So that's the part of, you know, Becky that I really identify with. And that's kind of what got all those words. Because again, I was thinking like 6,000 words on Becky tops, maybe, and then it became in total like 12,000, like double that length. And it just sort of happened where it got to the point. It was kind of funny. I was at like 6,500 words for the second piece, and I hadn't written a word on either the Charlotte feud or the Alexa feud. And I was like, oh no, I have written too many words for not even going over either of her actual two big feuds on the main roster, you know? So that did involve some editing in the end, but that one kind of showed my progress as like a writer and an editor and thinker, because it's much more concise than it says. I feel like a good amount of what the Bailey thing said, but there's a lot less rhetorical masturbation for my own sake in it. I think it's a lot more structured and flows much better instead of goes, you know, often to tangents here and there. It's just a much closer narrative, which I think kind of reflects what I was trying to say about Becky Lynch's character narrative as being so coherent and tight. And so unique in that sense. And then in terms of Charlotte, which I do have, you know, work being done on her, and in my head I want to put it out before SummerSlam, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Like that would be a Herculean effort to pull that off. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be one of those epics in terms of like running down their entire character history, because I mean, obviously I've watched so much of Charlotte's stuff over now that I've reviewed all the 3 other horsewomen, you know, so I've seen her in all of these feuds so much. And I think the big point I want to make about Charlotte is how I think the writing for her character, even dating back all the way to NXT, has been really terrible, and terrible because it's basically non-existent. Like the only 2 promos or segments that I can really remember where I felt like a connection with the Charlotte Flair character was when she initially dumped Rick, because it was like she was being an asshole, a jerk, but like what she was saying had so much truth in it and so much pain. Like, and like kind of shoot pain too. Like you could tell, like there was, you know, like he was a shitty father. Like I think we all know that. Like he was jet setting, high flying with all these random girls or whatever, you know, and she was growing up and not really having that father figure, you know, there all the time. So like her promo there, I thought was terrific in the sense of it really felt real and felt substantial and felt like it gave her some development. And then the one she did after Rick came back after the Falls Count Anywhere match last November, November 28th on Raw, when Sasha won her 3rd title, when the following week when Charlotte came out and was like, I want to apologize to Rick, and then Rick came out and she was like, fuck you again, but like, you know, added to it in a way. I thought that was really good too. And I feel like the Charlotte Flair character, the idea I have in my head for it is that she is like a legacy, and the character is afraid that no one will appreciate her for her own talents, and that people will just assume that, oh, she's a Flair, oh, she gets things handed to her, you know, oh, you know, people like her because, you know, the management likes her because she's a Flair or whatever, and that the character is afraid of this being like a defining aspect of her, which is kind of what her driving force is, to be so fucking good in the ring and prove herself in such a big way. Like that is the driving force of the character, how I see it at least. So then, yeah, the Charlotte post is going to be basically like WWE needs to write Charlotte better. It's going to be a weird 180 from you know, all the me not liking Charlotte during the Sasha feud. But again, that was mostly was meta shit. That was booking and company shit. I had issues with the company, not really stuff I had with the performer. I mean, it leaked into criticisms of the performer, which was unfortunate. But over time now, I've really grown to appreciate her and think she's a tremendous talent. And so, yeah, so that's going to be the Charlotte piece. And I don't know, the Four Horsewomen, like each of them, I kind of said it with the Becky stuff, but like each of them, I feel like kind of has one small little part inside of me in sense of like of how I identify with each of the four characters in a way. And like Sasha is like the idealistic like crusader who has a chip on her shoulder, which I very much identify with, like extremely so. As you know, somebody who has a little bit of an ego on them and thinks they're the fucking best and wants to shout it from the rooftops and gets really fucking angry when when people don't acknowledge it. So that's like my like extreme amount of like passion, which is what Mercedes puts into Sasha Banks. She's just an extremely emotional, passionate character. So that's kind of like that. Bailey, in terms of like the innocence, I really kind of love, like, not necessarily a little bit of the like naivety, but just the innocence and like the good-natured, good-heartedness. I like to think that I have a little bit of that inside of me. And Becky, like the fighting and the struggling. And then Charlotte, I'm trying to identify it more and more. And I guess at this point, it's kind of coalesced in my brain to it's an idea about my own privilege as like an upper middle class white male who grew up in Iowa, who grew up in, like I said, upper middle class, never had any worries or real worries in the world, whatever. And I think it's going to be sort of an examination on that. That's how it's going to play into the Charlotte bit.
Now, in 2017, the Midwestern white male is one of the oppressed men in the world. The world, not just this country. Y'all so oppressed.
People are really fucking dumb. like really, like seriously. But I feel like that's gonna be an evaluation of privilege. Or I don't really know. The Charlotte thing is still kind of circling through my head a little bit. I'm not quite nailed it down yet. But that's kind of, I've talked for like 15 minutes straight there. Nobody has commented, so I assume everybody has turned off at this time. Like, what the fuck is he talking far too long?
I see the viewers; they're listening.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to say, I don't think Braun should win this SummerSlam.
I love that. I love that. I'm talking for 20 minutes about my fucking journey here, and you're like, I don't think Braun should win. That's perfect. Fucking Roman stan. Ugh.
Okay, it's not because of Roman, because he is young and he has plenty of other opportunities. I want Joe to win so he can get his gold watch and in WWE and solidify his place in their Hall of Fame. That's I want, and it's just as big as a reaction as Braun's gonna get. Joe will get the same one because everybody fucking loves Joe. And even though I talk shit about how he's not able to go, that's because he gave his best years to that fucking company, TNA, and he deserves. I think he deserves it. I think he's earned it. I think he's the main reason the big last division is so hot right now, because he be spitting hot fire on that microphone. So that's what I wanted to add. Of course, I love your writing. I love that you do the Four Horsewomen. I hope you'll expand it one day to other women. But I know it's a labor of love, so you can't just pull it out of thin air. You take a lot of time with it. I also encourage people, if you're on Twitter, to find these great memes that have gone with Naomi's slap to Carmella. They gave me life today, and they're great. And I'm so proud of her. I am so proud of her. Like Black Twitter, which doesn't really follow wrestling, Black Twitter picked up on that, and I just love that they have people like, who is this? And like she might bring like people making fun of that glow belt and all her stuff, but she might bring some more eyes to this product. So you just think about that. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add, I don't think. Unless somebody want to ask me a question, but
yeah, do you have any long questions that Tonya can tell us a journey story for 20 minutes on? I did it, so you know, it's only natural.
I mean, I had a chance to do that time you was slept through the show.
Oh yeah, that's right, that infamous night. That infamous night. I was thinking about that night actually for some reason. Oh, it's because when Tonya and I were having a conversation in the DMs about Finn Balor's abs, and it reminded me of Big Money Drew. And so then I thought about that night because he stepped in and helped you out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bella RD3 asked me if I watched Glow, and I did, and I fucking loved it, and I thought it was tremendous. And I'm probably gonna end up watching again.
See, I'm waiting for BoJack to come on Netflix.
Oh God, that's gonna be so great.
They said it was supposed to be July, then they moved it back to September.
September, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, okay, so don't be a coxie. It needs to be September.
Right. Yeah.
And
So you gonna do Glow at that time? Yeah.
Yeah, cause like if I get Netflix, I like to binge watch stuff, and I would have been out. Like if I had Netflix now, I would have been watched Glow like 4 times already.
Right. Yeah.
So
the last couple of episodes too. Like I binged it over like that one weekend, and the last couple of episodes were I watched at like 4 a.m, and I had like a bottle of wine, so I don't really remember them all that well. So I probably need to go back and just remember what happened, actually, you know.
And for I do follow some wrestling outside of WWE. Follow some people in New Japan, but like. I don't know what it is about Kenny Omega. I just don't really like him. I love the Young Bucks. I didn't used to like them, but like that's because I'm a click mark, and they were like, I was like, they are stealing my guy's shit, but like that's not that's not all that is about them. I do hate like some newer fans associate the Too Sweet sign and all that to them. Like, no, bitch, that's they stole that. But I get over that. But like, I don't really like. I don't know what it is. I think it's his face. He looks weird to me. And I know that's shallow, but I don't really like. I know he's a good wrestler, but like, I don't really like him that much.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't. People always tell me to watch Progress, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. I don't know. There's a lot of content to get through, so that's kind of daunting.
Yeah, and I was thinking about having a watch party for the classic. Like, yeah, when it comes out, but it's 4 hours. Now, us in the Daily, I think it was about a year or so ago, there was a match with, I think the dude's name was Brian Lee, and it was an hour plus long.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 108 minutes, I think, and we watched it together. But like, 4 hours, I don't know if we can swing it, but I really would like to like, sit and banter about it with everyone while it's happening, so we don't have to use spoiler bars and stuff like that. So I think that would be interesting if we could try.
That could be a fun idea. That also, I feel like we could do that with some I'll be on the wine. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Make it a little bit interesting.
Yes, I'm very excited for that. I'm more excited for that than I am for SummerSlam.
I tell you, SummerSlam is like, I'm going to it, and I'm just like, God, I don't. It's gonna be so long. All I'm thinking of is like all these matches that are being made. And I'm like, all right, there's another like bathroom break, like
It's
phone charging. I've got like 4 of them already, and I'm like, fuck, there's too many of them. Like shit, man. And if it ends up like that, if they for some ridiculous reason do end up running Alexa Naya, if that's the women's match, I'm not going. I'm straight up selling my ticket if that's happening. Like, and I know I said last week that like the big lads have hooked me in, and that's true. But man, that will just be I feel like such a dumb fucking move that I won't be able to. I will just go hang out with my friends and watch it later. You know.
Until it's like they say, oh, well, Bailey's shoulder was just barely hanging on, and that match was like the end straw. Until somebody says that, I'm blaming Nia Jax. I'm sorry. I don't care if y'all don't, and she should not get rewarded for injuring somebody. I just don't like that.
Well, the current WWE champion did, so
yeah.
If you want to get into some real Game of Thrones shit,
right?
Paul's 2 biggest push acts in NXT. Finn and Bailey. Jinder got his reward. Just saying.
So, do you think the crowd is actually going to chant USA during Nakamura?
Oh, fucking Christ! I don't think so. I think like people have been ragging on the Barclays crowd, which is kind of weird because it's a different crowd for like SummerSlam weekend and like other just shows at different parts of the year. Like it's a really hardcore crowd for SummerSlam weekend, like even more than Mania, I think, because it costs a lot less money. So I think there'll be a lot of like Nakamura chants, Nakamura.
Like, how is he going? Like, how is he going to do his current gimmick?
I don't know.
He's gonna feud with America, and Nakamura's gonna come and defend America. Like, well, why should he? He just like moved here like a fucking year ago.
Right? Yeah.
I'm interested to see how they're gonna play Jinder's character against a non-American.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah.
We'll find out. It's coming up, not too far away now.
Less than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you say you got something to do next week?
Do I? I don't think so.
Oh, well,
what was I saying?
You weren't sure about like if we're gonna have a show.
Oh no, that was the week after SummerSlam.
Oh, okay.
I'm coming back from Brooklyn on Wednesday, so I don't know if I'll be like in a shape to have a show, but I think I should be able to manage it.
Yeah, all right. Anything else we need to add?
Not really. I think we've covered a whole bunch of shit. I have talked far too much tonight.
And I'm so sorry. I'm gonna try to get.
No. It was an experience. Let me tell you. I mean, it happened to you once, and so it was destined to happen for me at some point. And I'm just glad that some people actually asked me questions. Fucking Adam Rice. Adam Rice bailed me out with that question. Be like, oh, I can totally talk about myself writing for like 20 minutes. I can pull that off. That's no thing.
He's the real MVP.
Seriously. Other than that, we're all very sad, obviously, about Bailey, and hope her shoulder improves rapidly. Obviously, if not for SummerSlam, certainly for Survivor Series, because it sounds like they kind of wanted to have a big thing there for the horsewomen. So let's hope that's the case. And on that note, go hug yourselves.
Bye.